Stop. Just for a few moments, step away from this endlessly rushing world. Do not try to call anyone. Do not try to talk to anyone. Do not search for answers. Simply stop. Because life's greatest mysteries are not revealed when you are desperately searching for them. They reveal themselves when the one who is searching becomes still. The moment your restlessness comes to an end, existence begins to knock gently on the door of your heart. Perhaps your whole life you have been taught that if you want to achieve something, you must keep running. If you want to understand something, you must struggle. If you want to reach your destination, you must get ahead of everyone else. But the inner journey follows completely different laws. Here, the more you run, the more lost you become. The more tightly you try to hold on, the more you lose. The more desperately you desire, the farther away your destination seems. And the day you sit down without any desire at all, everything you spent years trying to opt in begins to come to you naturally. The greatest fear of a human being is not being alone. The greatest fear is meeting oneself. That is why people surround themselves with crowds, relationships, endless noise, constant busyness, and countless plans. They fill every moment with distractions, so they never have to hear the quiet voice within. Because very few people have the courage to face the one who silently lives inside them. When you truly sit alone, for the first time you begin to notice the chaos within yourself. A crowd of thoughts, the dust of old memories, the smoke of endless desires, the cries of unfinished dreams. Everything appears together. These things were always there. You simply couldn't see them because your attention was always focused outward. The first gift of solitude is that it reveals your true face. And when many people see this face for the first time, they become afraid. They discover darkness, restlessness, confusion. But this is exactly where the real journey begins. Because whatever can be seen can also be transformed. What remains unseen becomes your prison. So when you notice noise within yourself, do not be afraid. Do not try to erase it. Do not fight it. Simply watch it. Just as someone sits peacefully beside a river, watching the water flow without interfering, watch your thoughts in the same way. Slowly, something extraordinary begins to happen. You realize that thoughts are flowing, but you are not your thoughts. Emotions arise, but you are not your emotions. Memories appear, but you are not your memories. As this realization grows deeper, a new sky begins to open within you. Almost everyone in this world mistakes the mind for their true self. That is why they believe the mind's suffering is their suffering. The mind's fear becomes their fear. The mind's failure becomes their own failure. But the person who quietly sits in silence begins to discover that the mind is simply a tool. Just as clouds drift across the sky and eventually disappear, thoughts arise in the mind and then pass away. The sky never becomes the clouds. Likewise, consciousness never becomes the thoughts. Consciousness simply remains the silent witness. And the day this witnessing awareness is experienced directly, the direction of life begins to change. Have you ever noticed that when the surface of a lake is disturbed, it cannot reflect the sky? But the moment the lake becomes still, the entire sky appears within it. Your inner being is like that same lake. Right now it is filled with storms of desire, waves of fear, and vines of expectation. That is why the reflection of existence cannot be seen clearly. But as you continue to sit, to observe, and to accept, the inner lake gradually becomes calm. Then one day, without effort, without struggle, without the ego's endless ambition, the whole of existence begins to reflect itself within you. The greatest obstacle to understanding life is that we are always standing in tomorrow while looking at today. We believe that tomorrow something will happen. Tomorrow something will change. Tomorrow a miracle will arrive. But life never unfolds in tomorrow. Life always unfolds in this very moment. This moment is the only doorway. Anyone who searches anywhere else will continue to wander. So when you sit alone, do not wait for some extraordinary experience. Do not expect to see a great light. Do not wait to feel powerful energies. Do not expect hidden mysteries to suddenly reveal themselves. Simply remain present. Watch your breath as it comes and goes. Feel the quiet presence of existence. Because truth always arrives in the simplest form. The mind longs for miracles, but consciousness blossoms in simplicity. Slowly, you will begin to discover that the loneliness you once feared is becoming your closest friend. It begins to nourish you. It gives you strength. It fills the emptiness within. True solitude never leaves you empty. It fills you. It takes nothing away. Instead, it returns to you what you had unknowingly lost. It does not separate you from the world. For the first time, it brings you closer to yourself. And the one who comes close to the self also comes close to the whole of existence. When the first flower of silence blossoms within, life begins to change. The circumstances remain the same. The people remain the same. The world remains the same. But the one who sees has changed. And when the observer changes, the entire world appears transformed. The mountains of problems that once seemed impossible now appear like passing clouds. The fears that once felt unbearable are seen as nothing more than thoughts passing through the mind. The future that once looked dark now begins to glow with quiet trust. Gradually, you begin to sense that an unseen intelligence is guiding life. There is a deeper order, a silent harmony, an invisible wisdom holding everything together. For the first time, you understand that you do not have to search for the path. The path reveals itself. When the mind becomes quiet, when clarity arises within, when awareness awakens, the right steps happen naturally. The right doors open. The right people appear. The right opportunities arrive at the right time. Life no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes a flowing river. And within that flow, it is no longer you who is moving. Existence itself begins to carry you. That is why, the deeper you journey within yourself, the fewer complaints you have about the outside world. Complaints are born from ignorance. Awareness gives birth to acceptance. And with acceptance comes a peace that words can never fully describe. This peace does not come from success. It does not come from recognition. It does not come from relationships. It comes only from knowing yourself. And the first step toward knowing yourself is simply this. Sit quietly for a while, without any purpose, without asking for anything, without placing any conditions upon the moment. Because the day you truly learn to sit alone, you will realize that you are never alone. The entire universe has always been with you. The whisper of the wind, the vastness of the sky, the songs of birds, the green life of trees, the quiet sparkle of the stars. Everything has always been speaking to you. Only the noise of your own mind was too loud for you to hear. And when that inner noise finally settles, the music of life becomes audible. Then there's no need to search for the way. The universe begins to open the way for you. As the inner rush gradually fades, something subtle begins to change. Until now, your attention was always flowing outward. You watched other people. You watched situations. You worried about the future. You measured success and failure. But for the first time, the direction of your attention begins to reverse. Your gaze turns inward. And this is the moment when true consciousness begins to be born. Being born into the world is easy. Being born into yourself is rare. Most people live their entire lives without ever awakening to their own true nature. They live according to the beliefs of others. They live according to other people's expectations. They walk along paths created by society. Their life is no longer truly their own. It becomes nothing more than a collection of reactions. But the person who learns to sit in silence slowly begins to recognize their originality. For the first time, they discover an inner center that no circumstance can shake. A center untouched by any storm. A center that never grows old with time. A center that exists beyond birth and death. The mind always keeps you in a hurry. It constantly whispers, there is still something to achieve. There's somewhere else to reach. There is something more to become. The mind is never satisfied. Even if it were given the whole world, it would begin dreaming of another one. Because dissatisfaction is the very nature of the mind. It is a fire that cannot be extinguished by more fuel. The more you feed it, the stronger it burns. That is why the person who spends life obeying the mind eventually discovers only exhaustion. Achievements may increase, but peace does not. Possessions may grow, but contentment does not. This is why so many people possess everything the world can offer, yet still feel empty inside. They gathered everything, except themselves. They built magnificent homes in the outer world, while abandoning the home within. Solitude gently calls you back from this forgetfulness. It whispers, pause for a moment. Look carefully. Where are you really going? Are you seeking what your heart truly needs? Or are you simply following the crowd? When you begin observing yourself honestly, another surprising truth appears. Most of your fears are not real. They are only imagination. The mind creates stories about the future, and then becomes frightened by the very stories it has invented. It suffers because of events that have not happened, and perhaps never will. In this way, the precious present moment becomes buried beneath endless anxieties. But when you witness these fears instead of becoming them, their power begins to dissolve. They appear like smoke. You cannot hold them. They are only shadows cast by thought. As this understanding deepens, a new freedom is born within you. No longer are you a prisoner of the future. You become a resident of the present. Remember this. Knowledge alone is not enough to understand life. Information is not enough. Books can teach you many things, but they cannot teach you who you truly are. To know yourself, you need silence. For truth is not hidden within words. It is hidden in the spaces between them. Just as music does not exist only in the notes, but also in the silence between them, the mystery of life is revealed not in thoughts, but in the stillness that exists between thoughts. When you sit quietly and simply watch the stream of your mind, there are moments when every thought disappears. Only pure presence remains. Only being remains. That moment is the doorway to meditation. It is the window through which the infinite enters your life. Human beings are deeply attached to their identities. Some cling to their name, some to their profession, some to their relationships, others to their achievements. Yet all of these are merely outer layers. Very few people ever discover what lies beneath them. These identities provide a false sense of security, and the mind holds tightly to them. But the person who enters solitude gradually finds the courage to put all these identities aside. They begin to see that even if their name disappeared, even if society's labels vanished, even if every story from the past were erased, something would still remain. And that remaining presence is the most precious part of you. It is your true nature. It is your consciousness. It is the light that can never be extinguished. Existence follows a beautiful law. The more you let go of control, the more naturally life begins to flow. The mind, however, wants to control everything. It wants the future to unfold according to its plans. It wants people to behave according to its expectations. It wants circumstances to match its desires. And whenever reality refuses to obey, suffering is born. The root of suffering is not life itself. The root of suffering is the desire to control life. The one who tries to command existence will eventually become disappointed. But the one who learns to dance with life discovers joy. Solitude teaches you this dance. It reminds you that a river does not need to be pushed toward the ocean. It simply flows. Little by little, you begin to feel that existence is not working against you. From childhood, you were taught to struggle. Because of that, you came to believe that life is a battle. But life is not a battle. Life is a mystery. And a mystery is not something to conquer. It is something to experience. It is not something to understand in haste. It is something to feel. When you look at a tree, do you see it rushing anywhere? When the sun rises, is it competing with anyone? Only human beings live in constant tension. Because only human beings have drifted away from their own natural state. And whoever moves away from themselves becomes restless. As you continue sitting in silence, another profound truth begins to reveal itself. You realize that the most beautiful moments of your life were never forced. Love arrived on its own. A breathtaking sunset touched your heart without effort. A deep understanding appeared unexpectedly. Life's greatest gifts always arrive unannounced. They cannot be summoned. They can only be received. The emptier you become within, the more existence begins to fill you. Only an empty cup can receive fresh water. A cup that is already full has no room for anything new. That is why solitude does not mean escaping from the world. It means becoming available to yourself. It is not about leaving life behind. It is about reconnecting with your own being. When you are deeply connected with yourself, your relationships become more beautiful. Your work becomes more creative. Your life becomes more balanced. Because now you are no longer living from a place of lack. You are living from wholeness. You no longer approach others to take something from them. You approach them to share what already overflows within you. A treasure begins to awaken inside you that no one can ever steal. Then one day, you realize something extraordinary. The path you had been searching for was never outside you. It was always within. Outer circumstances were only excuses. The true direction has always arisen from inner silence. When silence becomes clear, your decisions become clear. Confusion begins to fade. Each step of life feels effortless. It no longer seems as though you are creating the path. It feels as though the path is unfolding before you, as if an invisible hand had quietly prepared everything in advance. And from that experience, a deep trust is born. Not a trust based on logic, not a trust borrowed from beliefs, but a trust born directly from experience. A trust that whispers, no matter what happens, existence will lead me exactly where I need to be. This trust slowly melts away fear. It brings an unshakable stability into your heart. And this stability becomes the doorway through which a completely new chapter of life begins. You finally understand that the universe does not open doors because you begged for them. The universe opens doors because you became available, because you became still, because you learned how to listen. You created enough space within yourself for the whisper of existence to reach your heart. And once that whisper becomes audible, life is no longer something merely to survive. It becomes sacred. Every moment becomes meditation. Every breath becomes a quiet celebration. Every step gently leads you back to your true home. As inner silence deepens, you gradually enter a space where words begin to lose their importance. Thoughts still arise, but they no longer have the power they once had. They drift across the sky of your awareness like passing clouds. Once, every thought carried you away. Now, you simply watch them come and go. Once, every emotion overwhelmed you. Now, you observe even your emotions with quiet awareness. This is the transformation that gives birth to true consciousness. Consciousness is not about adopting a particular philosophy or belief. Consciousness means awakening. It means becoming so deeply aware that you can clearly see everything unfolding within you. The greatest problem of human beings is not that they have no answers. The greatest problem is that they keep asking the wrong questions. They ask, how can I earn more money? How can I gain more respect? How can I make people accept me? How can I become better than everyone else? But all these questions arise from the same confused mind. And no matter how many answers a confused mind collects, its confusion remains. Because the real problem has never changed. Until the one asking the questions changes, no answer can create a lasting transformation. The inner journey is not a search for answers. It is a journey toward discovering the one who keeps asking the questions. It is the journey of asking, who is it that is always trying to become someone else? When you sit in silence, one day you begin to realize that most of your life has been spent trying to become something. Since childhood, you were taught that you are not enough. Become more, achieve more, collect more, and so an endless race began. The tragedy of this race is that the finish line never arrives. Because the person who feels incomplete within will continue to feel incomplete no matter how many achievements they gather. Inner emptiness is not created by a lack of possessions. It is created by distance from your own true self. And as that distance begins to disappear, you discover something extraordinary. You are already enough, exactly as you are. This does not mean that growth comes to an end. Growth continues. But now it is no longer born from insecurity. It blossoms from joy. You no longer grow to impress others. You grow because growth becomes your natural expression. There's a simple truth that can only be understood in silence. Life cannot be fully understood. It can only be lived. The mind wants to explain everything. It wants to remove every mystery. But life itself is a mystery. If it could be completely explained, its beauty would disappear. A flower is beautiful because there is something about it that words cannot capture. Love is beautiful because it can never be completely defined. The sky is beautiful because it has no visible end. Life is beautiful because it is infinite. The person who insists on understanding everything through logic misses the sweetness of life. But the one who embraces mystery lives in constant wonder. Wonder is the language of existence. A child is joyful because they do not pretend to know everything. They remain curious, open, receptive. But as people grow older, they begin believing they already understand life. And the moment that illusion appears, freshness begins to fade. Solitude gently brings that freshness back. It teaches you how to truly see again. Look at a tree as though you have never seen one before. Look at the sky as though it is your first sunrise. Look at yourself as though existence has just brought you into being. When this innocent way of seeing returns, life is no longer ordinary. The same world that once appeared ordinary begins to feel miraculous. Slowly, comparison begins to disappear from within you. Comparison is one of the greatest illnesses of the mind. The mind constantly asks, what does someone else have? Who is further ahead? Who is more successful? Who is more famous? Because of comparison, the mind never finds rest. But awareness never compares. Awareness simply sees. A rose never compares itself to a lotus. A river never compares itself to a mountain. One star never competes with another. Every part of existence is complete in its own unique way. When this understanding settles into your heart, you begin to accept yourself completely. You no longer feel the need to become someone else. Your energy is no longer wasted in struggle. It is free to blossom. The greatest treasure hidden within you is revealed only when you begin letting go of your false supports. Many people believe that spirituality means gaining something new. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Spirituality is not about adding. It is about removing. Just as a sculptor removes the unnecessary stone to reveal the statue hidden inside. Awareness removes your false identities until your true nature begins to shine. You do not have to become anyone. You only have to let go of everything you are not. As this process begins, you may sometimes feel empty. Old beliefs begin to crumble. Old identities begin to dissolve. The supports you depended upon start disappearing. During this stage, patience is essential. Because this is the point where many people turn back. They believe they are losing something precious. But in reality, they are becoming free. The prison door is opening. The old cage is breaking apart. And the one who remains patient soon discovers that behind this apparent emptiness lies an infinite vastness. Then one day, you notice that your happiness is no longer dependent on circumstances. Once, happiness depended on events. If something pleasant happened, you were happy. If something painful happened, you suffered. Now a peace begins to blossom within you that has no reason. It does not exist because everything is perfect. It exists because the one who sees has awakened. When the observer awakens, life's ups and downs lose their power to shake you. This is where true trust is born. Not from books, not from philosophies, not from beliefs, but from direct experience. Slowly, you begin to see that life has always been leading you exactly where you needed to be. The events you once called misfortune were carrying hidden gifts. The people whose departure broke your heart had also come to teach you something. Trust yourself. Trust the universe. Everything will unfold exactly as it should. There's a simple truth that can only be understood in silence. Life is not meant to be fully understood. It is meant to be lived. The mind wants to explain everything. It wants every mystery to come to an end. But life itself is a mystery. If it could be completely explained, much of its beauty would disappear. A flower is beautiful because there is something about it that words cannot capture. Love is beautiful because it can never be fully defined. The sky is beautiful because it has no visible end. And life is beautiful because it is infinite. The one who tries to grasp everything through logic misses the sweetness of existence. But the one who embraces the mystery lives in constant wonder. Wonder is the language of existence. A child is joyful because they do not pretend to know everything. They remain curious, open, receptive. As people grow older, however, they begin to believe they already understand life. The moment that illusion appears, freshness begins to fade. Solitude gently restores that freshness. It teaches you how to truly see again. Look at a tree as if you have never seen one before. Look at the sky as though it is your very first sunrise. Look at yourself as though existence has just given you birth. When this innocent vision returns, life is no longer ordinary. The same world that once seemed familiar begins to feel miraculous. Gradually, comparison disappears from within you. Comparison is one of the greatest illnesses of the mind. The mind constantly asks, who has more than I do? Who is ahead of me? Who is more successful? Who is more admired? Because of comparison, the mind never finds peace. Awareness, however, never compares. Awareness simply observes. A rose never compares itself with a lotus. A river never competes with a mountain. One star never envies another. Every expression of existence is complete in its own unique way. When this understanding settles into your heart, self-acceptance naturally blossoms. You no longer feel compelled to become someone else. Your energy is no longer consumed by struggle. Instead, it is free to blossom into your own unique expression. The greatest treasure hidden within you reveals itself only when you begin releasing your false supports. Many people believe spirituality is about gaining something new. The truth is exactly the opposite. Spirituality is not the art of adding. It is the art of removing. Just as a sculptor removes unnecessary stone until the hidden statue appears. Awareness gently removes your false identities until your true nature shines forth. You do not need to become anyone. You only need to let go of everything you are not. As this process unfolds, there may be moments when you feel empty. Old beliefs begin to crumble. Old identities dissolve. The supports you once relied upon begin to disappear. At such moments, patience becomes essential. Because this is where many people turn back. They believe they are losing something valuable. But in truth, they are becoming free. The prison door is opening. The old cage is breaking apart. The one who remains patient soon discovers that behind this apparent emptiness lies an infinite vastness. Then one day, you notice something extraordinary. Your happiness is no longer dependent upon circumstances. Once, happiness depended upon events. If life went your way, you were happy. If it did not, you suffered. Now a peace begins to blossom that needs no reason. It is not there because everything is perfect. It is there because the one who is aware has awakened. When awareness awakens, the ups and downs of life lose their power to disturb you. This is where true trust is born. Not from books, not from beliefs, not from philosophies, but from direct experience. Slowly, you begin to realize that life has always been guiding you exactly where you needed to be. The events you once called misfortune carried hidden blessings. The people whose departure broke your heart also came to teach you something precious. Trust yourself. Trust the universe. Everything will unfold exactly as it should. Thank you for listening with such openness, love, and peace. I am deeply grateful for your presence. And finally, I bow to the divine that resides within each one of you. Please accept my humble pranam.